right, good morning. Who's ready for a cup of Joe? The Have a Cup of Joe show. That's the name of it from now on. Hope you had a great weekend, and I hope you're ready to have a great week. I am. I had a wonderful weekend myself, mostly Saturday. Got a chance to bang on some drums. Had a real good time. I'm gonna try not to do a whole lot of this today. Messing around with my glasses, I saw I was doing that. But I had fun, and then yesterday I just laid around in pain because I'm old and I'm obese and I need to lose a lot of weight and get back to that again. But I hope you have had a great weekend and are ready to have a great week. I am. Some information here. You can subscribe to this on YouTube, and I've been seeing people do that, so thank you for that. Hopefully you're hearing stuff here to provoke some thought. This is not about me telling you what you should think. I'm telling you what I think. You may disagree, and if you do, please let me know why. People, we got to talk. Right? That's really what it's all about. Nose is a little stuffy again this morning. I don't know what's going on. By the way, audio versions of this are now available on Spotify, available on Google Podcast, and there will be a couple more that it should be validated on Amazon, Apple, iHeartRadio. Just takes longer to get those validated. So I'll be posting links to that if you just want to hear the audio only version. You're driving around sometime or whatever. That works too. So hopefully you'll subscribe to those and you'll tell me what I'm missing. I'm all about learning. I really just want to hear what everybody else has to say about this stuff and to do my part. I really think we all need to do our part to sort of get this car back in the middle of the road. And here I go. With my glasses. Let me get right into it because there's a lot here, and I want to try and get through as quickly as possible. I don't want these to be too long, but this one may be a little bit. Last week, I think, and I'm trying not to do this in anger. I have to be honest with you. Some of the stuff that went down with stuff that I heard last week got me in a little bit of a bad mood on Friday, and man, I can't let that happen. None of us could. We should. I don't think we need to make sure that we're conscious of what's going on, right? In our own way, but not allow it to get so deep inside us that it has an impact on us as we interact with our friends, family, whatever. So I'm working on that. I was doing so much better until far, but I'm fine now, and I'm just going to say this what I need to say, and I'll try not to get angry about it or upset. But there's no way I'm going to trust this administration. After last week, the president himself and then his press secretary said three things that were just so outrageous and so unacceptable that I just can't anymore. I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I've never been a Joe Biden fan. But then again, I was never a fan of the previous guy either. This is not a Republican and Democrat thing. I have to keep saying that. If you're a Democrat, be a Democrat. What do I care? Or if you're a Republican, I'm neither. I've been a registered independent for 32 years. And there's been plenty of things that the Republicans have done that just make me dizzy with how silly they are. But the Democrats are the ones in power now. So if you're critiquing the people in power, I'm not going to just protect them if I'm because they're a Democrat or attack them because I'm not a Democrat. But these are crazy times right now with the rhetoric that's coming out. And here are three things. Let me jump into it. Number one, early in the week, the president said something about the voter bill in Texas being literally the worst thing since the Civil War. And he then said, this is not hyperbole. Okay, Joe, I've read the bill. And I'm going to post a link to the bill because, like I said last week, I'm not going to get my feelings and mood or my feelings, let's put it that way, about what's in a bill from Rachel Maddow or Sean Hannity or any of these people. If I want to know something, I'll go read it myself. It's not terribly tedious to read. It's not terribly long. The bill has 5 articles in it. It's about voter registration, voting by mail, election security, and it's the one that's a little bit problematic for me personally. Number 4 is enforcement. Number 5, repeal and effective dates. And each of these have sections in them. There's 6 sections in the Voter Registration Act, 15 in voting by mail, 26 election security, 7 about enforcement, and 3 about the repeal, which is no big deal. Okay, now we keep hearing the word from people that are in his administration about how this is suppressive, right? Let me tell you what suppressive means. The definition, once again, from Merriam-Webster. If you want the definitions of words, there's a book that gives you all the definitions of all the words. Suppressive, to put down by authority or force, to keep from public knowledge, to restrain from a usual course of action, or to inhibit the no, forget about that one. That has to do with there's a medical term. So there's three of them really. To put down by authority or force, to keep from public knowledge, or to restrain from a usual course of action. Number one, just in case anybody isn't sure, this law does absolutely nothing. It's not removing anyone's rights. You have every right that you had before. It's not like they turned around and said, oh, by the way, if you're a woman, you can't vote. I mean, there's nothing like that in this bill. Does it make it harder to vote? If you use the special COVID rules that they did, is it suppressive? Yeah, it absolutely is suppressive. If you're comparing it to what you could do under the COVID stuff, your right, but your ability to vote is suppressed a little bit. But you know what? That's not a bad thing. Okay, why? And suppressive, and they know the words, and it's all the word salad that the media uses and that political administrations use. Does it make it harder? But what's it doing? It's first of all, and I'm not going to get into it too much. Read it yourself. One of the things, if you're a political operative, you can't solicit an individual just knocking on their door and say, "Hey, here's a thing. You want to vote?" You can't do that if you're a political operative. There's a list of people that cannot do this. And if a person wants to vote, even if a person is handicapped, older person, all they have to do is request it. That's all they have to do. And if you have the ability to send a letter, okay, or however else they're going to do this, you just have to prove who you are. Once again, here's that nonsense, okay, to say that somebody, we all know this, right, and this is overwhelmingly polling on multiple platforms. The vast, vast majority of Americans want voter ID. You have to prove who you are. The Democrats have lost that game. That game is over. It's over. Stop. You look silly now. Majority of black people, to the number of 80%, are saying, "Yeah, we'd like it if people prove who they are before they vote." Okay, so in order to register for this, you have to prove who you are. You have to make the request if you want to vote. Somebody can't just knock on your door, and this ballot harvesting thing is dangerous. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm sitting there going, the previous election was stolen by... No, I don't believe that. I think he lost. I think Trump lost. You may think differently. I think he lost flat out. But you can't... They're trying to close down places where things could be abused. And if one other side is fighting for it and one other side's fighting against it, I guarantee you, it's only because they want to win, not because they care about your rights. Please. Please. These people don't care. They only care about winning. They care about power. Man. So, let me ask you a question. Going back to the suppressive thing. Were the lockdowns suppressive? Yeah. But without getting into whether you believe it or you don't believe it, what was the reasoning that they used? For the greater good, right? There was a means to an end, even though your rights were being restricted. Same thing with this voting thing. All they're doing is trying to close down loopholes that can be abused by political operatives. I'm totally okay with that. So no, Joe, it's not the worst thing since the Civil War, because there have been things that have been worse than the Civil War that might have been as bad or as dangerous to democracy, like maybe, I don't know, World War II? Maybe World War II was a little more suppressive. Maybe the Great Depression, or not suppressive, but more dangerous since the Civil War. A war that killed 600,000 people. My gosh. Maybe the Great Depression was. Oh, how about this? Was COVID more dangerous than the voting bill? Right? We've been hearing how dangerous COVID is and all these actions that have been taken to make sure people are safe. Okay? Well, you're telling me that this voting bill, that all it does is try to close a couple of loopholes. There are a couple things in it that I'm a little, I don't like this. These watchers, they're called, in the third article of the bill, there's a couple sections where I'm not really crazy about the kind of power they have. But these will be limited because there's always going to be watchers from two parties in the same building. But overall, no, Joe, it's not as bad as the Civil War. It's just so stupid. Anyway, second thing. We were told last week, and this is the one that really got me hot, is that the Facebook is, that the administration is flagging information that's being seen on Facebook and saying, telling Facebook, maybe you shouldn't post this stuff. How about shut the fuck up? Sorry, I'm trying not to use language. This one really gets me going. The government has absolutely no right going to a platform, and I'll get to that in a second, and saying, hey, look, why don't you suppress this information? Because we say it's bad. How about no? How about it is not your place as a government to tell us what information we should or shouldn't have about things, especially if it keeps us, or if it has the potential of doing harm. Okay? By the way, do you know you have the right to engage in misinformation? You literally have the right to do that. You have people standing on tree stumps talking about the flat earth and, lizards eating babies or some damn thing, whatever that stuff's all about. You have the right to talk about that. You can say it. You still have the right. What's going on with this administration that they're telling private platforms, wait, no, don't let this person post that. Let me walk you through a couple things. Here's a series of facts. Number one, before we even get to that, a platform is essentially a stage. All right, and there's a very valid debate going on right now on whether things like Facebook and Twitter are platforms or are they publishers? What's the difference? A platform is essentially a stage. There's a stage, you walk out, you say what you want within the confines of the law. We already know that. You can't walk out on the stage and say, I'm going to go kill 6 people today. That's against the law. You know that you can't threaten people or terrorize people. There's laws. We know that. But essentially a stage is a platform. You walk out, say what you want. Now, publisher is different. Publisher, you got a microphone. Publisher there's a director. The microphone can be cut. The director can turn around and say, don't say that. You have to say it this way. Publishers, the major difference, as I understand it, please correct me, is a publisher is responsible for the content on their platform. Your magazine, your newspaper. You're responsible for it. You can't just turn around and lie. You're liable for that. Right now, Facebook's not liable for anything. They enjoy the protections of a platform. But when you start self-censoring, or you start using fact checkers, that's the most beautiful thing in the world, man. Fact checkers. Like, they don't have an agenda. Please. I had somebody send me a fact checker from USA Today once. You do realize how hard left USA Today is, right? Okay, anyway. I'm getting wound up. So there's a difference. Right now, Facebook is a platform that enjoys those protections. But when you start censoring, you're no longer a platform. Okay, you are a publisher. You're telling us what to say and what cannot be said. Stop. They don't want to be responsible for the content. It will change the nature of social media. But anyway, here's a series of 3 facts, absolutely facts. Number one, Fauci knew the virus came from a lab, could have come from a lab in March of last year. Okay, there were emails that were released through FISA that lets us know definitively that they knew that this lab was a possibility. Okay, but second, people were being sanctioned. They were being censored. That people were being demonetized for even saying that it was a possibility. People were, Steven Crowder is one of the guys who lost his ability to make money on YouTube simply for saying it was a possibility that the virus came out of a lab in China. They knew about it, that it could be, but still, 8 months later, people were being demonetized and people were being censored for just saying it's a possibility. That's crap. That's absolute crap. Oh my God. And then number 3, this administration admits now to flagging people who say they are giving misinformation and asking, if not trying to compel, private businesses to suppress their rights to communicate. Wait, you told us, even if you said the words, it might have come from a lab, that it was racist, which is bullshit. And then on top of that, you were censoring people's ability to say it out loud. And they knew the whole time that it was possible. Right? What are you doing? That's insanity. The government doesn't have the right to tell you what you can think. They don't have the right to say, "Oh, this information." Look, we're not. Let me step back a little. We're not talking about super secret spy missions to blow up governments or whatever. All right, there's some information I'm really comfortable in not knowing, but we know for a fact that there are people, and I'm going to also post a link to this on this post, who are biologists, scientists, doctors, and they're not quacks. These are respected people that this administration used to have ties to. That were like, wait a second, what's going on? There's a couple things here we need to talk about publicly. No, you can't talk about them. Why? Okay, it's insanity that they do this. That they're telling us what we can, telling a doctor what they can or can't say openly is absolutely wrong. It's absolutely wrong. People have the right. They have the right. You even have. Let me put it this way: you have the right to be wrong. Right? I mean, it's craziness. And if they're willing to tell private platforms what they can and can't say, where do they stop with that power? Where? You don't think that politicians won't turn around and tell us what to, I'm going to put it this way. Will they not say, this information about this particular other person, that I'm running against, let's get that out there. Oh, but this other stuff that might hurt me? Nah, don't do that. Oh my God. It's awful. It's awful. It's a platform. You should be able to say whatever you want within the confines of the law. And suppressing information that challenges stuff that we already know, that's the job of a scientist. Science is about asking questions, not about marching to the beat of the party line. Golly. And then Biden turns around on Friday. A reporter asks him about something about Facebook. What do you have to say to Facebook? And he looks into the guy's eyes literally and says, "You're killing people." Okay, Joe, Facebook is killing people? You got some names for us? Facebook is killing people. How do you even say that out loud without looking like an idiot? What do you mean that Facebook is killing people? Who? Your stupid wars that you vote for, that you voted for, the Iraq War, we got a list of people that were killed. How about Vietnam? You supported that. When you were a kid, we got a list of people that died in that stupid friggin' mess. Who's dying from this information? That, by the way, is not really misinformation. How about it's information? What are you afraid of? What is going on here? Oh, my Lord. If it's a platform, if they want to censor themselves, that's one thing. But don't you be sending them stuff and saying, "Oh, these 12 people are bad," because we say they're bad. They're bad. Don't let them post anything. We're silencing them. Jeez. It's fact checkers. And let's be honest, the previous president, his communication skills were inane at times. So this is, like I said, this isn't just bashing Joe Biden. Man, oh man. Anyway, what else was misinformation, Joe? I mean, go on Facebook right now and post something like, "Trump is a Russian asset." See if that gets flagged. It's been proven completely wrong. You had 2 investigations from the deepest parts of this government, and they came up with nothing. People that hated Trump, hated him, investigated him twice, and there's no definitive evidence of anything. Is that misinformation? You know, Hillary Clinton still has a post out there about the election in 2016 being stolen. What about that? How come that hasn't been taken down? There's no information. There's no definitive proven information that the election was stolen. But if you say something about the 2020 election being stolen, you can get completely canceled on social media. 2016, now you can still say it. It's unbelievable. So, why? Why don't I trust these people? Why will I never trust them? Number one, saying that the Voter Act is the most dangerous thing since the Civil War is literally misinformation. It is misinformation. You are being lied to. They're talking about misinformation. That is misinformation. A law that's trying to close a couple of loopholes that could be abused so we have more confidence in our election system. That doesn't take a right away from anybody. It's not racist and it's not misinformation. It's information. Jesus. You talked about suppression, right? Telling a private business and going to them and saying, hey, don't post stuff from these guys. That's suppression, Joe. That's literal suppression. That is suppression. But everybody else is being suppressed. Not them. They're not the ones doing it. Man, and to close it with this, it's about one thing and one thing only. They found a formula that worked to win the last election. Okay? Keep people terrified, extreme hyperbole, and divide racially. That's the way the Democrats won the last election. Repeat, keep people terrified, extreme hyperbole, and divide by race. That's how they won. They certainly didn't win it on their policies. What were I don't even know what their policies are. Still have no idea. I don't trust these people. There's no way. What am I missing? How come I'm wrong? What am I wrong about? I'm all ears. I am all ears. Tell me if I'm missing something. If you want to post some sort of rebuke of what I'm saying about that law, read the law. Tell me what I missed. If you think it's okay for a government to go to a private business and tell them what they can and can't say, and then say on top of that, well, all the platforms should be like this. If you think that's okay, why? If you think a president getting in front of a microphone and saying, Facebook is killing people, if you think that's okay, and then he's not using it hyperbolically. He's saying it for you to believe it. He's trying to scare the shit out of you. How about kiss my ass? I'm not scared. I'm not scared of words. This is a political party that's doing absolutely everything in their power to do three things. Keep us terrified, using extreme hyperbole to do so, and keeping us divided by race. That is the way this works now. So you may disagree because you have some sort of emotional tie to the Democrats or you hate the other ones. So that's fine. Vote for whoever the hell you want to vote for. What do I care? But this stuff is happening. And I want you to challenge me. If you listen to this, I want you to challenge me and say, no, the Voting Act is definitely suppressive and it's bad and people won't be able to vote. We have to challenge these people. Please. Anyway, that's, like I said, it was about, 20 minutes. I'm trying not to, the rest of these will not be anywhere near as long for now, because I'm still trying to work out what I want to do and how I want to do this. But once again, this will be up on several platforms very soon, the audio version only. Man, I hope you have a great week, and I love you. I do. Man, I really do. I hope something good happens to you. I hope you make a decision. I need some work. I got some work to do physically, that's for sure. Jesus. What a mess. Weekly Louisville City podcast coming up. Probably next week. Going to start doing that in my own way. And that's it, man. I hope you have a great week. Please be balanced. Challenge, but be decent, be kind, and listen to other people. And that's how we move forward together. I love you. I hope you have a wonderful week, and take care.